Donald Trump's team certainly go out their way to try to paint him in the best possible light. A post come up on social media, one of the many that really do, and I just felt I don't usually comment on content anywhere, usually on things. I just can't be bothered. I'd rather create my own, rather than comment here, comment there. I think that's the difference with some people, which is why sometimes I don't really. That's why I don't really favour comments. I don't really care about having a comment section and things like that because I know maybe some people value that, but for me, I'd rather create content. I think someone's got something to say. It's like say it then, say it in a more profound way than just a sentence. Otherwise, there's no substance behind it. If you've got something to say, actually, quantify it of actually speaking about it. So, of course, I've done a lot of content anyway. So I saw the video and I weren't going to comment, but then I thought, come on as well. So it's on his own TikTok profile. It's Team Trump. So it's actually an official page. I watched the video and I'll just show it. It's only brief. But bear in mind, leading up to this, I'd been seeing a lot of other videos with him because he's a nutcase. It's absolutely insane. I had a different word in mind for him, to be totally honest, when I'm saying that. Let me just get it. Right, yeah, anyway. Yeah, there's a harsher word I would have said. If we're talking about, like, what do you think of Trump? See you next Tuesday comes to mind if you put those together. That's the word that I thought. I thought that's what he is. So anyway, let's have a look. This is the video anyway. It's only like a way of just promoting him as this great person. So it says in your 20s, someone will try to convince you that Trump is a fascist. Wait a minute. I don't want to ruin it. Oh no, don't let him talk. How do you love this man, right? And I commented. I can't find it here on my phone. It's there on here because there's so many. Literally, if you look, it says how many comments? Nearly 11,000 comments. And I thought because I commented. Usually, like if you're on your phone, your comment will be at the top of your feed. Not everybody else's will be at the top, but because you did it, your comment will be at the top for you. So I've gone on the desktop version and it's not there. And there's 11,000 comments. I can't search that much. It's all coming up with older comments, which obviously weren't there. So I hadn't seen people's comments before I comment anyway. So I don't know if it's for or against him because I know there's a lot of people that absolutely adore him. This is people who consider themselves better than the average person, who don't really care about other people. This is what that is. It's almost like the narcissists of society absolutely adore Trump because they mirror back to themselves the dipshits that they are. That's what it is. So, yeah, if anyone's following him and adoring him, you're just as much the arsehole as he is, really. Just to be, let that be clear. Either that or you just thick as shit. You don't realise what you're following, a freaking devil in disguise. Dressed up like a baby. That's what you're following. If that appeals to you in some way, that's something I'd say is something seriously wrong and needs to be healed pretty quick. Life's too short to be following a dipshit and having a dipshit mindset. I would say that much for sure. Anyway, so I saw this video. Let's see the video first before you see my comment, or you won't see it. Unfortunately, I can't. I might better get it on my phone. I don't think I will. Wait a minute. Because I don't think the video, I don't think the camera will be clear enough. Oh God, I've lost it now. Why if they filtered it? Oh, I did take a screenshot. Because I thought stuff, things like that happen, don't they? When you do something and then someone cancels it out. Now, whether it did, could be the algorithm, could be anything, couldn't it? It was today. It says today there. Today, oh wow, I am spiritual, so I'm going to say that. I didn't even realise this. Today at 2:22 p.m. to 2:22. Consider the odds of that. So anyway, I'll say what I said before. So as soon as I saw the video, I thought anyone can make a shit look good if they're not speaking. So I just put this is before he starts talking, and then I put a laughing emoji. And this is on his official Trump thing. For God's sake! I'm not sure it's going to show now. See, doesn't work. Anyway, I can't show you this shit. The camera's crap. It's the phone. The phone's too bright or it's too dark, and the problem is it's set to a certain way of focusing. So of course it's focused on me and the perfect thing. You put a phone at different distances, and I don't think there's another way of doing that, to be totally honest. Unless I do that and I put it at the same distance as me, it might pick it up. Maybe you can zoom in. Maybe can't. But anyway, it doesn't matter. That's frustrating. The cameras do my head in. Yeah, anyway, so no, I just put this is before he starts talking. So consider that. He don't look too bad here. Anyone could look good just shimmying around and looking like just look like they're having the life of the party. It's when his mouth freaking opens is the problem with this guy.
Probably will be for life.
Oh, so how can you not like him? Because he walks up to a podium and does this little shimmy. It makes him fun. Well, that's nice. That's a good way to present him. It's funny how the only way you can present someone as being it's like positive or attractive in some way is by showing them before they speak. You know, for someone that says a lot, that's crazy. The best part of him is when he shuts up. Anyway, yeah, that's crazy to me. So is it? Well, I'll go backwards or forwards. Now, I want to say something because I've seen some videos and I don't think I've saved all of them. He is incredibly racist, like ridiculously racist. He attacks other countries, considers them like he really talks low of them, like they're trash. I saw a video. He said it. He was talking like that, but look, especially African countries, zero respect for any country that has a poorer economy. And it says a lot about him. And then he mentioned about Somalia, and he said about we all know there's Somalian pirates, so they try and get tankers off the as they sail by. But the thing is, that's not all of Somalia and things. You know, it's pockets of people. In the same way, you've got high crime rates, and you've got there's a lot of problems in America. So then, do we target all of Americans and say there's a huge crime rate? There's a lot of murder sprees. There's a lot of Or how can we taint every American as the same? It's not how it works. You can't just say every Somalian is the same as the pirates. It's a blanket, isn't it? It's a blanket accusation. But straight away, I laughed at that. I didn't comment at the time because he said that, and he said about the fact they still, try and steal ships and because they're pirates and things. But it made me laugh because America has literally just boarded a Venezuelan-bound ship, oil tanker, and seized it. They've literally just seized an oil tanker off the coast. I don't know if it was off the coast of Venezuela, but it was a Venezuelan ship. They saying has ties to Iran and any oil dealing with Iran gets it. I think it was that way round. But there's a precursor, and the more you delve into this story with Venezuela, now I've seen. Look, I'm not saying Venezuela's good because I think it was either Bolivia or Venezuela. I can't remember now. But I do remember like a year, 2 years, maybe even 3 years, because this war with Ukraine and things been going on so long, it kind of like gets confusing timelines. But I do remember where people were live streaming the suppression in their country. And I don't know, I think it might have been Venezuela. I'm not sure though. So it's quite dictatorial. So I'm not saying Venezuela is a peaceful place or a nice place to live because it seemed quite the opposite. But I don't think for one moment Trump is interested in that. So they did that. Now the reports are coming out. Well, they might have been said before, but I'm only just seeing it, that there's heavy oil reserves in Venezuela. So I find it quite interesting that the Trump administration has seized an oil tanker off the coast of Venezuela, and they seized it, and they've closed the airspace around Venezuela. And it's like I saw something else, a report that said this is eerily similar to Iraq. So they use propaganda to create a narrative as a precursor to then they steal shit. Americans steal shit all the time. You know, they act like it's the land of the free and everybody should look up to them. And then Trump keeps talking about European leaders and saying how Europe is going to be in a dire situation at some point. The way he's going, everyone's going to be in a dire situation because of his policies and his influence. And he's an absolute lunatic. But America have always been corrupt. I'm not talking about people. I'm talking about the corrupt. When I say things like this, I don't talk about the American people. I'm talking about the governance. It's been corrupt since forever. You know, and they always look out just for themselves. So if it serves America, great. If it doesn't, they won't. You can't rely on them. If the world was in a war, and America's shown it in the past. They only join in the wars when they only really join in when it's going to serve them in some way. You know, if it's not going to, you know that in the back of your mind. You know it in the back of your mind. They can act like your big brother. They can act like your friend, but you know it's not. They're not going to be there when shit hits the fan. So really, they shouldn't get their hands too much in other people's policies. So America's influence on Europe, I think, is quite laughable. Personally, because they're just trying to dictate to their own favour. You can think they're serving their people, whatever. It's just, it drives me crazy. It really does. Anyway, this buffoon is laughable because you can see the corruption all over him. So anyway, we see that video and it says, "Oh, look how great he's." How can you not like the guy?
We had a meeting, and I say, "Why is it we only take people from shithole countries, right? Why can't we have some people from Norway, Sweden, just a few? Let us have a few. From Denmark, do you mind sending us a few people? Send us some nice."
Nothing gets over me. I know it's every little thing. First of all, I think he said Norway, Sweden, or we might say in a minute. First of all, a lot of the people in those countries, they don't want to go to America. They're settled in their place. They've got more freedoms. They've probably got, I don't know exactly what they've got, but I'm assuming they've got similar healthcare to the UK. From my understanding, Norwegians are actually quite wealthy. It's a very wealthy place to live because of, again, from my understanding, because of the oil rigs. Norway owns a lot of that, the boundary there, so they own a lot of the oil and the gas reserves. So, yeah, I can't see Norwegians wanting to move to America, and Sweden's as well. Like, the culture's completely different. Why would they want to do that? It's like, that's the thing. America have this incredibly inflated ego where they think everyone wants to come. Well, if they wanted to come, they would have been coming. So I think America needs to get out of the bubble that everybody really is infatuated with them. It's like, we're really not. So it's completely delusional. And I reckon, and I noticed the Denmark part, that's a bit out of the left field. Like Denmark, any country in Europe you could have picked, but you chose Denmark. Why? Because Denmark owned Greenland. So of course it stands in his favour. He would love for Denmark. I don't know if Denmark, the actual Danish people, have an influence on the sovereignty of Greenland or not. When it comes to a vote, I'm sure it's just Greenland. People there would have a vote as to what that happens. But I do wonder whether he's trying to have that influence. That's why he calls out Denmark in a positive way. Maybe he's trying to get the people on board with him to like him. I think, it's very political with this guy. That was a strange one. When he said Denmark, straight away my mind just went straight to Greenland. I was like, this guy can't control himself.
People, do you mind? But we always take people from Somalia, places that are a disaster, right? Filthy, dirty, disgusting, ridden with crime. The only thing they're good at is going after ships. We had a
says the guy that's gone after ships, and then they're killing innocent people as well because they're collateral. Yeah, look, I'm not here to say all of Somalia is positive or whatever. I just think making a blanket statement about any country, I think, is not a healthy thing to say. In the same way, I don't attack American people. It's just the governments and the way the policies are and stuff. It's just the propaganda. For me, the big problem I have is the influence America has on the rest of the world. That's where the problem. If it was just American policy and America, it's none of my business. Just do what you want to do. That's why you don't see me talking about every other country. I don't talk about America because I want to talk about America. America gets on my nerves in the sense that they're always trying to police the world. They're probably trying to be like, if you talk about it, like the modern day British Empire. That comes to an end at some point, and no one's saying it was a beautiful time. But what I would say is, if you look at industry and things, I've actually got this incredible book that I intend to read. I got it recently, and again, I'm working on for my next books and things later on in the future. I want to talk about like history and mythology and all different things, but it's like I want to educate myself on an awful lot of things. And I'm not sure if it's specifically in this book, but it does talk about the fact that, at least with the British Empire, we gave, I think it was the railroads and things, but I'm not sure if that come from China personally. But anyway, let's just say UK. It's the influence we've had. Like, other countries have had influence on the UK as well, so it's not just one way or the other. But with the British Empire, at least we gave things to the world. And it's a bit like if you think about the Roman Empire. From my understanding, the Romans are the ones that gave us our roads. And there's probably other things we've taken from it too. So if we consider America as an empire itself, because that's effectively what they want to be, well, at least that's how they keep behaving, it's like, what have they actually given to the world? I don't know. I mean, you could talk about technology, but from my understanding, I might be completely wrong, but I'm pretty sure the guy who invented the internet was actually British. So there's an awful lot of technological advancements and industry advancements that actually stem from England, from the UK. Yeah, I know a lot comes from Scotland as well. So, yeah. But anyway, it just drives me nuts. It really does. That From that point of view, it's like you got a country that's adamant that they're the best, but they've shown nothing. If you look at statistics, any metric you want to pick at, what are they the best at? They have ridiculous amounts of debt, just like other countries have vast amounts of debt. They just hide it. They've got probably the biggest military, but if you actually look at the military and you think, why do they have the biggest military? Because they're trying to create an empire, but also it's corruption at its core. It's almost a way to what's the word? Oh, I can't remember. There's a word for it, not fraud, but do you know what I mean? Where they it's underhanded stuff with money, money laundering. So it's almost like the same as that. It's like take the taxes off people, and then we'll filter the money through this system. We'll have contracts with companies that favour like a politician or something. They get a handout in it. Maybe they get a percentage. It's all dodgy shit going on. So the money goes here, and it goes, and some of it gets lost here, and it's all over the place. You just know that's going on. So it's corruption at its core, and people are collateral damage. I don't trust American politicians for the life of me. Like the politics, the governance, none of it. And if this guy being the head of that, you got this delusional baby. I don't like him. Let me see if I can find this book. I don't want to ruin it in a mad rush. Get it. Oh, pretty cool. There's a few of these. There's different historical ones, different periods. I want to get the Rome one. I want to get the Greece one. I want to get the Egypt one. They are quite expensive, so I kind of grab them when I see a discount. They're £30 each, which is quite heavy for a book. I got this one for just £12 in the Black Friday sale because I keep my eye on them. I hope the green thing don't work. Do it. This is History of the World, map by map. I know we're going off track, but I'd rather just educate people a little bit. It's literally here. It says socialism and anarchism, and it's all done in timelines. You see, it's even got COVID-19 in this, weirdly enough. So it goes all the way. It's got the Persian Empire. We've got the British Empire. Not seeing that here. Babylonia, Iron Age, Africa, rise of the Persian Empire, cities in the Americas. So it shows all this. See the rise of the Persian Empire. So what it does, it shows you in timelines. I don't know if it's coming up or blurry. I really don't know what's showing there. And it will show you the map, which I think is really interesting. And then it will give you pockets of information around it. And again, it's so many different periods of time and different parts of the world. So I'm someone who is interested in learning about the past, and I keep my eye on the present, the Greek city-states. And I think that's incredible. The depth of this book is crazy in terms of all the information. For instance, this one says Greece and Persia at war. So every country has its own period of dominance and challenges, and I just think when you think of great leaders from the past, people galvanize and inspire. In no way do I find this guy tolerable at all. He's not. He's only going to be remembered as someone who instigated societal change. It created an awful lot of upheaval. I'm sure he will be remembered. I've got no doubt that he will go in history, but it won't be for the right things. It'll be all the issues that he caused, the division, even the hatred. But from it, it's going to create potential change in a new direction. I've got no doubt about that. And I think that's where it says. So when we go through these chapters in the book, where the Roman Empire, it will talk about that. I've got no doubt it'll talk about like maybe Cleopatra and the links between Egypt and Rome, because it's the Roman Empire. So it went all the way through to I don't know how deep into Africa it went, but we know it went that far over. It's gone into the Middle East, from my understanding, to an extent, and it's gone all the way up to the UK, to England. But yeah, I don't know what was going with that, but oh yeah, that's annoyed me because I was actually on a train of thought. But yeah, that's it. So that's there, and I wouldn't be surprised if at some point, like as the book continues, it goes through these different chapters, doesn't it? And there'll be the chapter on America's influence, if it's not already there, and there'll be a chapter on Trump, I'm sure, one day. Because if you've got things like COVID-19, we've definitely had this era of Trump, haven't we? Absolutely mental. But I don't think he's going to be remembered in the way he hopes to be totally honest. I don't see how he can. But yeah, people need to educate themselves more, for sure.
As you probably know, we've just...
Right, what's this one? Oh yeah, so he's talking about the oil tanker. And he always exaggerates everything. This is the thing with him. He can't ever just talk facts. It can't just be like, a normal conversation. It always has to be bigger and bigger. He's just like a petulant moron. I would say child at this point. I just can't stand him, so I'm just going to get worse with my derogatory statements, to be totally honest, because my mind, absolutely. If you're talking levels of like, don't like the guy, like, I'm really at this lowest. It's like I couldn't even have a conversation with him and change my mind. You can't change my mind on the guy. Don't like him on every metric. He's just a narcissist that is actually like the devil in disguise. So literally, he despises anyone who doesn't relate to him or doesn't kiss his ass. So everybody, pretty much, who isn't on his side from day one is the enemy, and he'll do anything in his power to ruin their lives and make it very difficult. And you see it on every level. It's not just people from different impoverished countries. It's these innocent people who are just trying to get by in life, and those that are just trying to make a new life, and they already established themselves in America, for instance. Let's say they've relocated, they've done everything the right way, they've paid the visa fees, they filled out the forms, they've done everything right, and they're just about to renew or make a permanent residence that they're entitled to because they followed the rule of law. They've turned up to the courthouse, and he is getting them detained and arrested and deported. And yet, if you think about it, they've probably been in America longer than he's been president. Like even his first term. Like, so who is he to do this to people's lives? And then, but beyond that, you see the way he talks. I say everybody else has seen it. I've seen it. The way he talks to journalists who are there to question things and get answers for the public. So if they ask a question, you might not like the question, but you're there to answer everything truthfully and factually, because that's what your job is. You know, being held accountable. They have to hold you accountable. That's their job. So they're going to ask questions that might seem nice and you might make you feel nice, but they might ask questions that are going to make you a bit more frustrated and think, oh, I wish they didn't touch on that right now. But you're going to have to answer them. So to keep attacking them for doing their job is outrageous, because otherwise it's just propaganda that gets spewed, isn't it? The same way Trump's team is saying, how can you not like the guy? Because he ain't freaking speaking, mate. Look what happens when he speaks.
Seized a tanker on the coast of Venezuela, large tanker, very large. Largest one ever seized, actually. And other things are happening, so you'll be seeing that later, and you'll be talking about that later with some other people.
Mr. President, thank you. Can you explain a little more about this Venezuelan oil tanker and share a little more information?
Well, I'll let the people do it, but you see the result, and I guess they probably have released the pictures by now or pretty soon. You'll discuss that with the appropriate people later on, but no, it was seized for a very good reason.
Well, what happens to the oil on this ship?
Well, we keep it, I guess.
Where does it go? What port does it go to?
Well, you have to follow the tanker. You know, you're a good newsman, just follow the tanker.
Do you know where it was going?
Follow it. Get a helicopter and follow.
We'll keep it, of course. Well, that was the whole point, wasn't it? We want the oil. We're going to just take it. Instead, we ain't even going to drill for it. We're just going to take the tankers and bring them home.
The tanker.
Is it true?
One who's happy.
I assume we're going to keep the. As you probably know, we've just.
He is so corrupt. It's a joke, man. It really is. So we've done that one.
I've also announced a permanent pause on third world migration, including from hellholes like Afghanistan, Haiti, Somalia, and many other countries.
Oh, anyway. Yeah, he mentioned Norway, Sweden one here.
Why can't we have some people from Norway, Sweden, just a few? Let us have a few.
Because they don't want to come, mate. It's just that the educated don't want to. That's the part they're missing. It's the uneducated that follow his propaganda. And maybe you'd say it's not their fault. You know, if some people just don't know better, or they've just been brought up with this nonsense as though, again, it's like following Hitler. It really is. It's just, if that's all you know is fascism, then that's all you're going to know, isn't it? So sometimes you've got to think someone's ignorance is it even their fault at some point, you know? But I would say people in Europe, for the most part, are quite educated. You know, they've seen a lot politically around Europe themselves. So when you are, I think, societally aware, and then you hear the shit that comes from America, for instance, it's like it doesn't endear you. Why would you upheaval your life that's got stability and you're thriving, and you've got community, you've got culture, you've got everything that maybe principles you stand by, and you've got values, family, and then locally. Why would you upheaval from there to go somewhere that's in complete chaos and divided amongst itself? And I think the answer is you don't, which is why he's imploring people from those countries to come, please, please. He's like almost like begging them. He's like they're thinking no. So then, how can America be this land of opportunity, this place where this utopia, when people are recognizing it's not, and it's quite apparent, because why would a president almost be begging people to come? I think that just speaks volumes to me personally. Let me just see if I can get a video on this other one, because I don't think I've got it. Okay, fortunately I do have it, because I put some on faves and one on like. It's a new account I got, and it's just literally the only one I've got of him. I could have a field day if you saw the stuff I've seen, and I'm sure other people have said it. Now in this one, he's attacking. I thought it was a senator, but it's I'm not sure what she. I don't know. I don't know if she's just a representative. Let's just see what he says. He's incredibly racist. He's a joke, and he does it on purpose because he wants to. What he tries to do is destroy people's character, because he has free reign in the capacity he has, and again, he's got minions that follow him to his words. Even if he wasn't president, he still has influence, doesn't he? Because there's people that literally follow him. He's just a business tycoon who failed at many businesses, but like many of them, they try to proclaim their success story so they can get more bailouts, more loans, more opportunities, and it allows them, when they suffer through a business venture that collapses, to continue to build their legacy, because the name is like a brand, so it gives it strength. If it was to be absolutely apparent that he's a foul businessman, then who's going to want to invest, to support his thing. He's just a charlatan, really. He's like those ones, what did you call it? Back in the day, they used to sell the those alchemy things. They had the health cure. If you drink this potion, you'll be 2 times bigger. You'll be strong. You'll be healthy. It's just nonsense. Who knows what the hell you're putting in your body? That's what I think of him. Like he's just a salesman. Just not a very good one. Although perhaps better than you think, because he gets the right side. Put a certain part of society that actually follow him. Anyway, let's listen to the shit that comes out of his mouth, and then we might return back to the dancing one. So think how great he is. Look how nice. How can you not like the guy?
There's nothing but the concert. We ought to get her the hell out. She should get the hell out. Throw her the hell out. She does nothing but complain.
Democratic Representative Ilhan Omar responded to President Donald Trump's comments on her calling him a, quote, national embarrassment, and saying his fixation on her is, quote, beyond weird.
I love this Ilhan Omar, whatever the hell her name is, with the little turban. I love her. She comes in, does nothing but she's always complaining. She comes from a country where, it's considered about the worst country in the world, right? But she comes to our country.
He couldn't even say the country. I don't think he knows what country she comes from. He sees the turban, decides to attack it, which means he's attacking a culture. And there's a lot of people within that culture, and whatever region her country is. I don't know what a country is, but then I'm not the one attacking her, But it seems to me that he doesn't know what country it is, but he's just going to target an entire culture. Why? Because he feels they're inferior to him, and it's quite evident. How the hell these countries do trade with him and business, all these arrangements, knowing that what he truly thinks of him. It's just mental. Why? Because he's the face of America. It's like you have to deal with him. This guy, man, he's just causing more damage to America and America's status around the world than I think the majority of people realise. It's weakening America every day.
And she's always complaining about the Constitution allows me to do this. We ought to get her the hell out.
Trump's comments come amid a growing crowd.
Because he doesn't like that there's effectively rules and barriers preventing him from having widespread chaos. He will, like I say, I consider him Hitler. But the difference between Hitler and him is he has all this bureaucracy that actually stops him at times. And it's going to be people like her who have a say, because they have their own constitutional powers to enforce. So for her state, for instance, or I think it's a state, but, they have powers too that he can't always override. And that's why he's saying, get her out, because that removes the barrier. Get her out. Get someone in that actually agrees with me, and let's make this change happen. That's what he'd love to do. Put all the puppets in place. Now he suddenly controls the whole country without any pushback. Yeah, he's just corrupt. He's a very corrupt guy. It's outrageous to me. I don't want to keep talking about Trump. It's just I saw the video of him dancing like a moron. And I wouldn't say moron, really. Look, everyone can have some fun. But when behind there is this puppet, think of him like Chucky, the Chucky doll. That's what I think of him. Yeah, I just think of him as a Chucky doll, complete and utter lunatic.
Probably will be for life.
He does not care about the damage he causes. You know, he's an absolute narcissist. Anyway, that's my opinion on Trump.